श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। ओम श्रीमात्रे नमः। तो हम शुरू करते हैं विथ वर्स नंबर 33। So verse number 33 continues from verse number 32, which was talking about the Panchadashi mantra. स्मरं योनिं लक्ष्मीं स्मरं योनिं लक्ष्मीं त्रितयमिति मादौ तव मनोः त्रितयमिदमादौ तव मनोः स्मरं योनिं लक्ष्मीं त्रितयमिदमादौ तव मनोः निधायैके नित्ये निधायैके नित्ये निरवधि महाभोगरसिकाः निरवधि महाभोगरसिकाः निधायैके नित्ये निरवधि महाभोगरसिकाः स्मरं योनिं लक्ष्मीं त्रितयमिदमादौ तव मनोः निधायैके नित्ये निरवधि महाभोगरसिकाः भजन्ति त्वां चिन्तामणिगुणनिबद्धाक्षवलयाः भजन्ति त्वां चिन्तामणिगुणनिबद्धाक्षवलयाः शिवाग्नौ जुह्वन्तः सुरभिघृतधाराहुतिशतेः शिवाग्नौ जुह्वन्तः सुरभिघृतधाराहुतिशतेः भजन्ति त्वां चिन्तामणिगुणनिबद्धाक्षवलयाः शिवाग्नौ जुह्वन्तः सुरभिघृतधाराहुतिशतेः स्मरं योनिं लक्ष्मीं त्रितयमिदमादौ तव मनोः निधायैके नित्ये निरवधि महाभोगरसिकाः भजन्ति त्वां चिन्तामणिगुणनिबद्धाक्षवलयाः शिवाग्नौ जुह्वन्तः सुरभिघृतधाराहुतिशतेः स्मरम स्मर is we have seen smara earlier. स्मर कौन है? Anybody remembers? You are on mute.
कामदेव.
Correct. So what is the बीजाक्षर of कामदेव? ये भी बताया पहले पिताजी, वो भी याद करना पड़ेगा ना. क्लीम, क्लीम बीजम, we have seen that. तो स्मर का बीज क्या है? क्लीम. स्मरम योनिम, योनि, योनि means भुवनेश्वरी बीजा, भुवनेश्वरी बीजा. ह्रीम लक्ष्मीम, Lakshmi Bija, Shreem. So the secret here is the three mantras, the three Bijaksharas. Kleem, Reem, Shreem. So what he is saying is, first we have to understand, we'll do the word meanings first. Smara, Bhuvan, Yonim, Lakshmi, Yonim. Yonim means that which is the birthplace of this entire universe. So where is the birthplace of the entire universe? From her. In which form did she give birth? Bhuvaneshwari. So since she gave birth to this entire form in the form of Bhuvaneshwari, the Bhuvaneshwari Bijam has been indicated with the word Yonim. Smaram Yonim Lakshmim. Tritayam Idam. These three syllables, the three Bijaksharas. Tritayam, these three. Idam, these. Adau, before. Tava Manoho, your mantra. Manoho, your mantra. That has been discussed in the earlier verse. So, Smaram, clean, Reem, stream, these three before your mantra, Nidhaya, placed. Eke Nitye, O Nitye, O eternal one, O Devi who is always existing. Nidhaye Eke Itye, one, Eke Nitye, the only one who is eternal. Niravadhi, Niravadhi, continuous, endless. Avadhi means chutti. Avadhi means break. Right? When we say class kaksha ki avadhi ho gayi, so avadhi means break. Right? So nir avadhi, without break. Mahabhoga. Mahabhoga means enjoyment. Mahabhoga, great enjoyment. Rasikaha. Rasika matlab jisko unka ras pasand hai. Jo mahabhog. Those who are wanting to enjoy continuous, endless, great enjoyment. Niravadhi Mahabhoga Rasikaha. Bhajanti Tvam, worshipping you. Chintamani Guna Nibaddha Akshavalayah. Akshavalaya. Aksha. Aksha means I. Aksha also has another meaning. What is the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet? A. What is the last letter of the Sanskrit alphabet? Kha. Right? After that, you have Ksha, Prasa, all that, they are joint letters. Ksha is the last letter. Aksha means from the beginning to the end. And the beginning and the end, they are joint. They are joined. They are continuous. There is no beginning, there is no end. Aksha Valayaha means Akshamala. Akshamala means the mala which is used for doing japa. The Akshamala made of what? It is made with Chintamani Guna Nibaddha, tied, put together with the qualities of the Chintamani. Chintamani. We have seen Chintamani earlier as a place where the jewels with which her house is decorated. Her house, her room is decorated with Chintamani. Her throne is made out of Chintamani. Now we are saying that the devotee, he takes a rosary, he takes a japamala made of Chintamani, and he uses that Chintamani to do your bhajan. He bhajanti tvam. Chintamani guna nibaddha akshavalayah. Shivagno, the fire of Shiva. Juhvanta. Juhvanta mane means offering ahutis, right? Or worshipping. Juhomi, we say, right? Juhomi swaha. Aghamarshana stotram. If you listen, usme, aapko, you will get the word Juhomi swaha. Juhomi, I offer to the fire. Perpetually, I am keeping on offering. Shivagno juhanta. Surabhi grita. Surabhi means Kamadhenu. Surabhi means cow. Right? Here specifically meaning Kamadhenu. Surabhi. Grita means the ghee. Surabhi grita. Dhara in continuous form. Ahuti sateihi. Hundreds of offerings continuously of the ghee in Shiva's fire. Now, what does all this mean? By now, you should have started understanding that Shiva, the Shankaracharya does not mean what he's saying. Right? हम लोगों को बोलते हैं जो बोलना चाहते हो वही बोलो ना, तो शंकराचार्य को बोलना पड़ेगा. अभी जो बोलना चाहते हो बोलो ना, ये सब घुमा घुमा के क्यों बोलते हो? तो घुमा घुमा के इसीलिए बोलना पड़ता है because these were at that point of time transmitted secrets, and therefore only somebody who understands this can be using it for his own benefit. So they were all given to us in codified form. Now, what is he saying here? He is saying, in the earlier shloka I said, Shankaracharya is saying, in the earlier shloka I said, this is how the Panchadashi mantra is created. Kaye ilarim hasakahalarim takalarim. I gave you that mantra. But how do you chant that mantra? So first, in the first kuta, right? In the first kuta, Vagbhava kuta, we know, na, it has 3 kutas, right? First was the Kaye ilarim, pehla kuta. Lalita Sahasranam में भी हम लोगों ने देखा, we have seen the 3 kutas. First phrase is the first kuta, second is the Madhya Bhaga second kuta, and the third is the Adha Bhaga Tritiya kuta, Shakti kuta. So these 3 kutas, the first one, it is to be prefaced with Klim. So you say, Aum Klim Kaye Ilarim. Second one, you say, Reem. Aum Reem Hasakahala Reem. In the third one, you add Shreem. Aum Shreem Sakala Reem. Now, that is what Acharya is saying. So when you add these 3, then the Panchadashakshari mantra is no longer called Panchadashakshari. It is called Saubhagya Panchadashakshari. Panchadashakshari का रूप ही बदल दिया. And he has made it into Saubhagya Panchadashakshari. Now, when it becomes Saubhagya Panchadashakshari, so he is saying the devotees, they first add Klim, Reem, and Sreem to the 3 kutas, and they chant your mantra. That is what he said in the first 2 lines, right? And they are saying, and who is chanting this? Nidhayeke nitye niravadhi mahabhoga rasikaha. People who are looking for endless enjoyment. What is the endless enjoyment? What is the enjoyment that can be endless? Only one enjoyment is endless. And that is merger with her. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sayujya. All of these types of mokshas, these are the only endless enjoyment. Any other enjoyment that you are getting has an end. Niravadhi nahi hai, wo avadhi purna hai. It is with avadhi. So the only niravadhi mahabhoga rasikaha. All the rasika, all the people who are wanting, who know the beauty of this endless enjoyment. Mahabhoga. Not just bhoga. Bhoga could be, oh, I want to eat rasgulla of various types. Right? Whatever be the rasgulla. Now that rasgulla is no longer the bhoga. Now I have moved from bhoga to mahabhoga. So mahabhoga rasikaha. So those who are devotees, what do? They pray to you. Bhajanti tvam. They pray to you. How do they pray? Oh, they take a rosary made of chintamani. Arey Baba, मेरे को तो normal money नहीं मिलता है. Chintamani कहाँ से ढूंढूंगा? Where am I going to find chintamani? Chintamani means all the chinta that is going on in my head. I take that and I made it into a rosary. So all my thoughts, they become the beads of the rosary. Beginning of the thoughts, aksha valayaha. Beginning, to the end of all the thoughts, ksha. I put them all together. And in each of those thoughts, it is you. In each of the thoughts, it is you. If you look at chapter 7 in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, tapasoham tapasvinam Shashi Suryo Prabhasmi Aham. Prabhasmi Shashi Suryo Ho. Right? He says, I am the essential nature of what you see. Of a tapasvi, I am tapas. Of the sun and the moon, I am the light. I am that essential nature. Why is that given? What is the manan? The manan is very beautiful. See, when I walk on this floor, and I have a very beautiful, smooth floor, and I feel the smoothness, then I say, the smoothness of the floor is you. The essential nature of the floor is what? Smooth. The essential nature of the whole floor is what? Firm. The moment I see something and I realize its essential nature, and then I say that essential nature is nothing but you. That is the Akshavalayaha of my Chintamani. Each thought is a treasure. Each thought becomes a treasure. Because the thought is no longer related to the bhoga. It has become transported to Mahabhoga. And taking it to Mahabhoga, that thought which has gone to Mahabhoga, each thought beginning to the last thought, Ksha, Aksha, Valayaha, garland, all the thoughts, they all center around her only. And hence it is Chintamani Nibaddha. They are all tied down. All the thoughts are tied down to her. Bhajanti Tvam Chintamani Nibaddha Akshavalayaha. Such a beautiful thought. Think of the Manan. Every time you see something, the greenness in the leaf is you. Just imagine, if the leaf is no longer green, we don't call it a leaf. If the sun has no light, sorry, we don't call it a sun. So the light of the sun, the essential nature of what makes a thing, that itself is you. The Saumyata of a Stri is you. The Paurusha of a Purusha is you. The Omkar in the Vedas is you. The meaning of a Shabda is you. Because if the meaning is taken away from the Shabda, then the Shabda has no meaning. The Shabda is not a Shabda. It is only sound. That essential nature. Whenever I see something, मैं किसी भी चीज को देखूं, मेरे दीवार की white दीवार है, इसके अंदर में whiteness of the दीवार is nothing but you. Each thought now has got tied down to her. Nibaddha. Each thought. And each thought then goes back to her. So it is endless. Aksha. And where am I doing these thoughts? Where am I offering these thoughts? Into the Shivagni. What is the Shivagni? Okay, so Shivagni is obviously the Agni created by the tapas of Shivoham. That is one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is, if you look at the Sri Yantra, before the Bindu, remember the Sri Yantra, we looked at it in verse number 12 and so on and so forth, where all the layers were all described. The second last layer coming from outside to inward is a triangle, an equilateral triangle. That equilateral triangle, think of it as the Homakunda, in which the Bindu, which is nothing but oneness, because the Bindu has no angles, it has no shape, it has only one existence. That is the essence of this triangle. And in that triangle, I am offering my endless dhara of ahutis, of Surabhi Grita. Now, what is Surabhi Grita? Surabhi Grita का मतलब होता है कामधेनु का घी. Kamadhenu means she who fulfills, the cow who fulfills all wishes. Right? Grita kya hai? So, we take grass. Let us take grass. Right? And you take that green grass, you feed it to a red colored cow. What comes out is a white colored milk. Right? So green grass has now become passed through a red cow. It has become white milk. How will you keep the milk? फ्रिज नहीं है अभी, क्या करेंगे? हाँ, उसको बॉईल करेंगे. Right? Every day if you keep boiling the milk, it will become rabdi. So I cannot keep the milk in the milk form. So if I have to store it, then what do I do?
तो दही बना लेंगे.
वेरी गुड. अब दही भी ज्यादा दिन नहीं रहेगा, दूध से ज्यादा रहेगा, बट ज्यादा दिन नहीं रहेगा, तो क्या करेंगे?
उसको मथ लेंगे.
मथेंगे तो क्या निकलेगा?
घी निकलेगा, मक्खन निकलेगा.
मक्खन निकलेगा. वेरी गुड. अब मक्खन को भी ज्यादा दिन नहीं रहेगा, तो मक्खन को क्या करेंगे?
गरम करके घी बना लेंगे.
अब घी को क्या होगा?
वो घी को स्टोर करके रखेंगे।
कितने दिन रहेगा?
पूरे दिन रहेगा, मतलब उससे ज्यादा टाइम रहेगा, 2-3 महीने रहेगा ना।
Few months.
Ghee made properly will last you for 1,000 years, even more. Ghee does not. Ghee is the only form of fat which does not become bad. Very interesting, isn't it? Which is why ghee is a symbol. In when we go to Sabarimala Yatra, you take ghee and you put it inside the coconut because it symbolizes the Atman. सुरभि से निकला हुआ दूध का एसेंस, सारे कामों का एसेंस घी जो है, वो एसेंस मैं तुम्हारे अग्नि में, इन शिवाग्नि जुहोमी, शिवाग्नि जुह्वन्त, I am offering all my desires to you continuously. Dhara shateihi, continuously. So every time a desire arises, it is a chinta. That chinta is tied down to you, and I take that chinta and I put it into the Shivagni. Because I am nothing but Shiva. I am nothing but you. Because Shiva and you are not different. You are nothing but Shiva alone. And that Shivatvam is what I am. With that Shivoham, I keep offering every thought that arises, every desire that arises, it goes into the Shivagni, into that triangle, which is the last point before merger. Continuously you keep offering. With the 3 Bijaksharas, Smara, which creates all desires, Reem, which creates the entire material universe, Shreem, which creates the prosperity required for us to move forward. With Kleem, Reem, Shreem, and with the Panchadashakshari mantra, we move forward. We merge our thoughts into her. I will create all the vasanas, washed out all the vasanas, thinking of every moment only of her. That is the 33rd verse. How close Acharya takes us to here. कितना पास ले जाते हैं ना, एक एक वर्स में कितना पास ले जाते हैं. So such a beautiful verse here. Any questions, any doubts? Let us chant it once more. Maram yonim lakshmim kritayamidamadav tava manoh nidhaye ke nitye niravadhi mahabhogarasikaah bhajanti tvam chintamani guna nibaddhakshavalaya शिवाग्नौ जुह्वन्त सुरभिकृत धाराहुतिशतैः. धाराहुति, ahuti in the form of dhara. So, so this is the 33rd verse. Now we will start. Yes, please.
So Valaya is like circular or something.
Circular. Yes. Yes.
Mala?
Yes. So therefore, it becomes a mala. Aksha mala, aksha valaya.
So from that, there is a Tamil word called Valayam, which actually means bangle.
Yes, correct. It's the same root. It is the same root. So, so we will start with the Kunjika Stotra. Actually, after I told you that we'll start with the Kunjika Stotra, I then thought that we should start with the Argala Stotra first. But then we'll do the Kunjika only. So, what is the? Firstly, let us understand where do we find Kunjika Stotra and what is the meaning of Kunjika. So, the Kunja means it means a grove. It means a small garden. Kunjika, one meaning of Kunjika could be she who lives in the garden. right? She who lives in the garden. Another meaning of Kunja is basically key. It means key, chabi, Kunjika. So Kunjika Stotra is the key stotra. It opens up all the other stotras. So while I wanted to do the Argala, Kunjika came because it is the key. So perhaps she directed me to say, okay, no, you first do Kunjika Stotra and then we will do all the other stotras. In the Saptashati is a story, right? There is a Vaishya, there is a king, both of them land up in the forest. The Vaishya has been cheated from all his property. The king has been cheated from his kingdom, and they land up, and then they reach a particular Muni, and the Muni tells them the glories of Devi. And in the glories of Devi, we find 3 parts to it. The first part is called the Mahakali Charitra, in which she is the remover of, Mahasaraswati Charitra, in which she is the remover of darkness in the mind of Vishnu. She is Yoga Nidra, and we get a beautiful Brahmastuti, right? And then we get the second part where we have the her destroying the Mahishasur, and the third part, which is the longest part, which is where she destroys the Shumbani Shumba, along with all the Raktabija, Chanda, Munda, all these Dhumra Lochana, all these people which she destroys. And we have beautiful stotras over there. So the Namo Devyai, Mahadevyai, Shivayai, Satatam Namaha is in the second part. The third part is the Narayani Stuti, right? So Sarvangala Bangalye, that part comes over there. So over there, the Stuti comes in form of all the forms that she had displayed: Brahmani, Rudrani, Isha, the Maheshwari, Indri, right? Kaumari, all these forms that she had displayed. There is a praise to all these forms. Reading the Saptashati, there is one first Chandi, it is called Chandi, it is called Saptashati. The reading and understanding and doing meditation using the Chandi, it has 700 shlokas. That is why it is called Saptashati. Using the Saptashati, when we chant it, when we recite it, it is a very powerful meditation. So to create the energy required to be able to do that meditation properly, you need to have the key, which is called the Kunjika. You need to have a bolt which will close the door for everything else. That is called the Argala. Argala means bolt. दरवाजे का जो bolt होता है, right? जो कड़ी लगाते हैं. And then you have Kilakam. Kilakastotra means Kilakam. Kila means nail. So you nail your entire thought down to one point, Kilakam. Then you do Nyasa. Nyasa means establishing. Nyasa literal meaning is establishing. So you put the Devi in various parts of your body. Only after doing all these, then you do Dhyana. Once you have established Devi in the body, then only you can do Dhyana. Only Shiva can worship Shiva. So you have to become Devi, you have to become Devi. So when you are worshipping Devi, you have to become Devi. And you become Devi and you merge with her, and then only you worship her. Because it is all, after all, ultimately, what are we worshipping? Brahman. What is Brahman? I am only Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Soham. So you take that form, you establish it amongst in yourself, and then you do Dhyana, where you visualize the glorious form of Devi, and then you do the japa. These stotras are not part of the Markandeya Purana. Markandeya Purana is the Purana in which Markandeya Rishi recites all these as a story to various other people, and in that he tells the story of this Chandi. So if you read the Chandi, you will find at the end of every Adhyay, Sri Markandeya Purane, etc., it will come. Reva Khande, etc., Some Khanda, some Bhaga, all that it will tell. Right? So, so the Markandeya Purana does not have the Argala Stotra, Kilaka Stotra, all these are not there. These are later additions by people who have meditated deeply, and therefore they have taken these stotras from various tantras and they have added them as a part of the process of understanding and reading the Chandi. When you read the Chandi with each shloka, when you do a ahuti, it is called a Chandi Homa. When 9 people read it together and do it, it is called a Navachandi Homa. When 100 people do it, or one person does it 100 times, it is called a Shatachandi Homa. Similarly, Sahasra Chandi, Koti Chandi, etc., etc. Right? So this is a Chandi Homa. So you first do the reading, and then with the reading, after the reading is over, then with each reading, each line, you give a ahuti of various dravyas into a fire. That is called a Chandi Homa. Now, before the Chandi Homam is started, before the Chandi Parayana is also started, before a reading is started, the Kunjika Stotra is recited. Now, Kunjika Stotra comes to us from a particular Tantra. And in all Tantras, they are either called Agama or they are called Nigama. Agama Shastra is where Shiva is in a conversation with Devi, where Shiva is talking and Devi is asking questions. Nigama is a set of Shastras where Shiva asks questions and Devi answers. So we have Agama, Nigama, right? They form part of the Tantra. Now, in one of the Tantras, the Kunjika Stotra exists. And let us start with, today, we are just going before the mantra, the dialogue between Shiva and Devi. So Shiva is telling Devi what is the benefit, what is Kunjika Stotra. That is what we will learn today. So let us look at the Stotra. Siddha Kunjika Stotram. Shiva Uvacha. Shruno Devi Pravakshyami. Shruno Devi Pravakshyami. Kunjika Stotram Uttamam. Kunjika Stotram Uttamam. Yena Mantra Prabhavena. Yena Mantra Prabhavena. Chandi Japa Shubho Bhavet. Chandi Japa Shubho Bhavet. Shruno Devi Pravakshyami. Kunjika Stotram Uttamam. Yena Mantra Prabhavena. Chandi Japa Shubho Bhavet. Na Kavacham Nargala Stotram. Na Kavacham Nargala Stotram. Kilakam Narahasyakam. Kilakam Narahasyakam. Na Suktam Napi Dhyanam Cha. Na Suktam Napi Dhyanam Cha. Na Nyaso Na Cha Varchanam. Na Nyaso Na Cha Varchanam. Na Kavacham Nargala Stotram. Kilakam Narahasyakam. Na Suktam Napi Dhyanam Cha. Na Nyaso Na Cha Varchanam. Kunjika Patha Matrena. Kunjika Patha Matrena. Durga Patha Phalam Labhet. Durga Patha Phalam Labhet. Ati Guhyataram Devi. Ati Guhyataram Devi. Devanamapi Durlabham. Devanamapi Durlabham. Kunjika Patha Matrena. Durga Patha Phalam Labhet. Ati Guhyataram Devi. Devanamapi Durlabham. Gopaniyam Prayatnena. Gopaniya Prayatnena. Swayoniriva Parvati. Swayoniriva Parvati. Maranam Mohanam Vashyam. Maranam Mohanam Vashyam. Stambhanochata nadikam. Stambhanochata nadikam. Maranam Gopaniyam Prayatnena. Swayoniriva Parvati. Maranam Mohanam Vashyam. Stambhanochata nadikam. Pathamatrena samsiddhyet. Pathamatrena samsiddhyet. Kunjika stotram uttamam. So stotram uttamam दो बार बोलते हैं. शिव भगवान शुरू करते समय, right from the beginning, the first line itself he says, Shunu Devi Pravakshami, let me tell you, listen Devi, I am telling you about Kunjika Stotram, the most Uttamam, the foremost of all stotras. Yena mantra prabhavena chandi japa shubho bhavet. By reciting it, the chandi, the japa of chandi becomes shubha. Na kavacham, there is a kavacham that is supposed to be recited before. Kavacham, na argala stotram, nor the argala, kilakam, nor the kilakam, na rahasyakam. Rahasya is normally recited afterwards, at the end of the chandi. Na suktam, there are two suktam which are recited. One is the Rigvedya Devi Suktam and the Ratri Suktam. These are two recited before the chandi japa is begun. Na suktam, na api dhyanam, I explained dhyanam, na cha nyaso, navarchanam, nor the archana. None of these are necessary. Kunjika Patha Matrena, Durga Patha Phalam Labet. Without even doing any of those, if you just do the Durga, do the Kunjika Patha, then you will get the fruits of reading the Chandi. Kunjika Patha Matrena, Durga Patha Phalam Labet. Ati Guhyataram Devi, Devanam Api Durlabham. Even the Devas find it very difficult to get this particular stotram. Then he says, Gopaniya. So you decide whether you want to keep it a secret. Gopaniya prayatnena. Try and keep it a secret. Swayoniriva Parvati. You decide whether you want to keep this a secret or not. Because if person who reads this, just by reading this prayer, Pathamatrena samsiddhayet, by reading this itself, person can do maranam, which means he can murder somebody. Mohanam, he can attract people. Vashyam, he can make somebody a slave. Sthambanam, making people motionless. Sthambanam. Uchatanadikam, adikam means etc. Uchatanam, meaning making him restless. So a person who by reciting this, he gains these powers. In reverse, a person who recites this, these powers cannot affect him. So when people are trying to do negative things around you, and this is not about having black magic. This is not about black magic. This is about basically negative influences. So you have always got negative influences all around you. That is natural, right? Positive will be there, negative will be there. Negative influences tend to also take away our positive energy. So when you recite this, the negativity that is surrounding you will go away. That is what Shiva says. We will begin the mantra in the next session, where we'll start with Atha Mantraha, and then we will learn the mantra. Right? Should we end? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.